Hi, this is Drew Loker, and in today's video we're going to start Poster 2, the Staff Business Poster or Anti-Bullying Poster. Go to your classroom, click on Classwork. If you do not see Poster 2, open the View More, click on View More, and go to Poster 2. The assignment page is exactly the same as Poster 1, but you do want to start in Poster 2. You can click on the sample to see a number of bullying posters that were done at a middle school last year. And you'll notice that there are numbers underneath each one, which hopefully we will enter your poster in a small contest to be judged on by staff members as well. You'll click on View Assignment. I swapped over to a classroom where I'm a student, so I can show you what you'll see when you click on View Assignment. I see it as a staff member, so in this class I'm a student, and I'm going to click on View Assignment. You won't see anything listed into your work, so you'll click on Create. This assignment begins in Google Drive or classroom.google.com, so we'll go on to Drawings. And go ahead and click on the work. One of the things that Google does is put your name out in front of every document. That's actually good for me, but bad for you because everything shows up with your name out in front. You're welcome to change that around, and just so you're not getting confused, I'm going to change this last part of the name. So this is Poster 2, and I'm going to call it a little bit more specific. The more you put in it, the better for you and me. Poster 2, and I'm going to call this one Headphones. I'm going to make a poster about bringing your headphones to the desk. Alright, so currently it is a horizontal, but that is a default setting that can be changed. So I'm going to click on File. This is one of the first things you want to do before beginning to design your poster. I've clicked on File a couple times already. I'm just waiting for it to pop up. You'll click on Page Setup. It is currently a standard 4:3 aspect ratio. We're going to change that to custom, and I'm going to keep it a horizontal, which means I'm going to keep my white edge at 11 and my narrow edge, that'll be the side, the top to bottom. In this case, if I reverse the numbers, it would be a vertical if for some reason your teacher requested a vertical. Verticals hang better, but horizontals are easier to design on the screen, so I'm going to go 8.5. That's a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of copy paper, should your teacher decide to print this. Doesn't look much different, but it does change just a little bit. Most importantly, it's the right resolution. The next thing we're going to do is design our text, or you can go get your clip art first. It really doesn't matter if you already know what clip art you want. And in this case, I want a headphone, so I'm going to go open up a new tab. And I'm going to search for images. And in this case, we can use other people's work as long as it's copyright free and a clean image. So I'm going to type in headphones, and you're going to type in whatever it is. If you're designing a poster for your teacher, maybe they wanted a picture of something in particular for an assignment that they're working on. But I'm going to go ahead and type in image headphones. And we're going to get all kinds of search results. Hopefully it's not going to be blocked like in this case it is. So I might try something a little different. Hopefully yours won't be blocked, and you'll actually click on images. I'm going to go to images.google.com, just see if I can't narrow it. That's like going to classroom.google.com. And on this laptop, that is still blocked. Let me take off the secure, see if that will get there. Nope, still won't let me get there. Alright, I had to use Edge, the old Internet Explorer, the new version of Internet Explorer, and I've typed in headphones and was able to get a Google search. I'm going to click on the word images so that I see only images rather than purchase options. And I'm going to find an image that looks like something that's intended as copyright free or at least royalty free. There is a difference between copyright free and royalty free. Copyright free means that that the person who made the image has released all copyright claims to it. Royalty free means that the owner still owns that image, but they're letting you use it with permission or with Creative Commons allowances that allows you to use the image without compensation to the author. So royalty free means they're just not making any money off the image, essentially. and I see that I'm getting a whole bunch of blank images. While looking through for an image, I've stumbled across a couple other ones. You'll notice that I really can't see the images, so I'm having to look at the titles. Hopefully you'll be able to see your image. But I do see a couple examples that I would like to talk about when you're looking for your image. This one has the word Shutterstock running through the center of it, so that is obviously an image that I do not want you to use, nor would I want to use. That is clearly a copyrighted image, and they want you to buy it. And that's called a watermark. And just above that is another link that's of interest right here. It says headphone guidelines. As you're designing your poster, you have to do the typesetting. So if you find an image that you want to use and it is predominantly text, like in this case, I can't really just copy this image right here and go paste it into my poster and be done with it. You have to actually do the text yourself. So if you find an anti-bullying poster that says stop the bullying with some images of the kids, you're going to either have to crop out the text and do the text on your own, or find an image that is just the image that you want. You also want to clue in what it says right here. This is a pretty small size image where it says 350 by 270. So that's kind of a small image. I may come back to that later. It looks like something I might want to look over for you guys. So I'm going to continue to try to find another image. So I finally found an image that I wanted. Truth be told, I probably could have put a pair of headphones on a table and taken a picture of it, uploaded it to Google Photos or photos.google.com, and copied and pasted my own image faster than this is going right here. I did come across one other image, but it was just too small. This one is 673 by 800. I have clicked on the largest image, so you can't see the thumbnail right there, but when I clicked on it, I could see down here, when I hovered over it, it told me the size of it. But make sure you're not clicking the wrong image. Make sure you get to as large an image as possible. So I'm going to simply right-click and copy the image. In Chrome, it actually says copy image. So I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go back to the poster that we're designing. And we'll right-click and paste. And our image will have come in. Now in this case, I'm thinking I'm probably going to want a vertical page. So I'm going to click off the image. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Page Setup, and I'm going to reverse these two numbers around. It is best to make this decision earlier in the design process, and the reason why I want to do this is because I'm going to stretch my image out, and because of the nature of this particular image, I'm going to probably put some text in the middle of the image, and I needed the vertical, I needed to be as tall as possible. Although, on second thought, I'm going to undo a few times, and normally you don't want to stretch an image by the sides. If you're grabbing a picture of a person, you certainly don't want to resize by grabbing anything other than the corners to keep the image proportional. But in this case, the headphones won't mind if I make them a little squattier. And so I've stretched them out. And now I'm going to go with some text. We'll click on the text, and I'm going to put a large box. I'm just going to click, and I'm going to type out the word headphones, and I'm going to do a Control A because I really meant for that to be all caps. I'm going to show you how to change this to all caps after the fact. I'm going to go to Text, Format Text, and then Capitalization, and then Uppercase. And then I'm going to make the font size bigger. That's a Control, Shift, and a period or greater than sign. You can also type in the size that you want. I'm going to go all the way to 72. I'm going to do a Control B. That's the same thing as clicking right here where it says bold. And then we'll click off the text box and then click back on the edge of it and move it into position. Alright, you'll notice I went back to vertical again. Really couldn't decide on this. When I switched to vertical, Google automatically changed the size of my text box. So I either need to extend the size of my text box so that S wraps up. I'm going to do a Control Shift E so that it center justifies. And then I'm going to move this box up above. I could have also made the text smaller to get it to fit. And I'm going to bring my headphones down. Now I'm going to create a new text box. Now, one of the things that you want to do is have multiple sizes of text, regardless of whether you're designing a poster for your teacher or anti-bullying, or maybe even the Law Day poster that was permitted for the spring semester. So I'm going to click inside here. And you can either click and drag out the size of your box or click and then resize the box after you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and center justify from the get-go. That's Control-Shift-E, or you can click up here and choose the center command. And I'm going to go ahead and type in bring. I'm going to hit the enter key to force it to the next line. And if you don't see your text, you might be typing in white. I wasn't. Bring to desk 4. Alright, I'm going to do a Control-A to select all, and I'm going to do Control-Shift period. And this is where, yes, you can go click the font size and change it, but I want to dynamically change it by using the Control-Shift period because it lets me get the exact size that I want on the inside of that text box. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of my text box, although Google doesn't really care. It'll go down below it. Now, some programs you have to go and keep the text box size. So I don't know if I'm liking how this is looking, but I'm going to continue working with this for a few minutes. One additional thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put some small details down here, probably from that clip art that I just found a minute ago. I'm going to go ahead and typeset that. And then I'm going to do one more text box in this lower right corner. I'm going to put poster by my name. You put poster by your name. And the box is very large, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And if your name wraps to 2 lines, make sure you conform that. I'm going to change the font size of that box to 8. And if the font doesn't change, then you're going to have to actually select the text. It depends on whether you selected the text box or selected the text on the inside. There are 2 ways to resize that. So I want that all the way into the lower right corner. And the best thing to do is to either center justify it, Control-Shift-E, and then nudge it over when you've got the edge of that box selected. And if you do use somebody else's artwork that needs to be attributed, go ahead and put that on a second line. Let me nudge that up so you can see that. And I'm going to click my plus sign to zoom in. And I'll click the magnifier back off. Google does not like that magnifier to still be active. And then you might need to credit where the photo or the image came from. You could just simply say clip art photo. Or if you know exactly where it came from, you can actually put the website reference. And you always want to give attributes if you can. So I'm going to leave that as clip art photo. Alright. And I'm going to nudge that back down into the lower right corner. I really want that to be as small as possible. When I'm ready to return back to full size, I'm going to go to Fit. And that'll shrink it down to the size of your active window. You can hide your toolbar at any time right there. And that is a Control-Shift-F. Control-Shift-F shows your menu bars. Control-Shift-F hides your menu bars. And that just gives you a little bit more screen real estate. So I'm going to click on one more text box down here. And I'm going to click on here and I'm going to call this Guidelines. Alright, I've gone ahead and typeset the smaller details, so you'll notice I have 4 sizes of text now. I've got my large title at a 72 font size, and that may vary. I've got my interior inside the headphones, that would be my second level, or main text. I've got my subtext, and this is a font size 14. I'm probably going to make that maybe to an 18. Guidelines at the very least needs to be 18, so I've double-clicked Guidelines. I've made it bold. And I'm going to double click and make it 18. And I may also make the rest of the text inside that box 16. So I'm going to play with this a little bit more. Final approval does need to be approved as you go through the process. If you're waiting for approval, have it open in the background and work on one of the other projects. We have several listed on the enrichment. You can type if you're done with all the other activities. And depending on which semester we're in, you should have your animations that are also concurrently running and need to be turned in the next few days. So hopefully this will get you underway, and let me know if you have any specific questions. And I made the last few changes right there. I put the longest line, keep volume low so it's not heard by others, down at the bottom, so I can wrap it kind of underneath that headphone piece. And fortunately, everything is saved automatically and turn in your classroom when you're done.